The X-Files is best known for the iconic duo of Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, but by the time the series reached its ninth season, agents Monica Reyes and John Doggett had stepped in to carry the show's legacy. While their chemistry was more subdued than the flirty banter of their predecessors, it proved to be just as captivating, especially in one of the series' most emotionally devastating episodes, For D. Aired as Season 9, Episode 4. For D was more than just a science fiction story about alternate realities. It was a quietly powerful hour of television that drew influence from one of Hollywood's most famous villains, a tragic real-life medical case, and one of the most unsettling horror films of all time. A multiverse thriller with real-world roots. In 4D, Doggett and Reyes pursue a serial killer named Erwin Lukesh. During the investigation, Reyes is brutally attacked and Doggett is shot. Except none of this makes sense, as the opening moments of the episode show Doggett alive and well, chatting casually in Reyes' apartment. The events spiral into a twisted puzzle, hinting at the presence of parallel universes. The idea of shifting realities is hardly new in science fiction, but The X-Files gives it a deeply personal twist. When Doggett is paralyzed and unable to speak, he begins using Morse code, tapping his finger to communicate. This wasn't just a clever plot device. It was directly inspired by the real-life story of Jean-Dominique Bauby, a French journalist who, after suffering a massive stroke in 1995, was left with locked-in syndrome. Despite being able to move only his left eyelid, Bauby dictated his memoir, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, letter by letter through blinks. The intimacy and courage of his story left such an impression that X-Files star Robert Patrick advocated for a scene where Reyes shaves Doggett's face, mirroring a moment from Bauby's book, The Ghost of Norman Bates. The episode's killer, Erwin Lukesh, may not be as well known as other X-Files villains like Eugene Toombs or the Fluke Man, but his origins are chillingly familiar. Writer Stephen Maeda crafted Lukesh as a modern-day homage to Norman Bates from Psycho. Like Bates, Lukesh lives with his mother, resents her dependency, and harbors dark, suppressed rage. Lukesh travels between realities to carry out his murders, creating a multidimensional slasher scenario that's as cerebral as it is horrifying. Maeda's love for literary and cinematic nods is also reflected in other episodes. For instance, the main character in the Season 8 episode Red Rum is named Martin Wells, a subtle nod to legendary science fiction writer H.G. Wells. A technical feat behind the scenes. While 4D is emotionally rich, it's also one of the most technically complex episodes in the series. The visual effects team, led by Matt Beck, had to invent a new kind of visual language to portray characters transitioning between dimensions. Rather than opting for overused sci-fi tropes like portals or wormholes, Beck used layered shots and digital morphing to create a rippling, visual effect, akin to walking through a distorted mirror. This theme extended to the marketing campaign. The episode's promo teaser featured mirrored scenes and reverse text, much like what you'd see on the front of an ambulance, further reinforcing the episode's theme of duality. A touching showcase for Doggett and Reyes. Despite Mulder and Scully's long shadow, 4D proves that The X-Files could still produce emotionally potent episodes without its original stars front and center. Reyes and Doggett's dynamic is built on quiet strength and mutual trust. Even when Doggett is bedridden, Robert Patrick delivers an expressive, heartbreaking performance, communicating volumes with just his eyes and finger taps. The episode subtly highlights a role reversal between Reyes and Doggett compared to Mulder and Scully. Reyes is the believer, chasing unexplained phenomena with conviction, while Doggett, the skeptic, remains grounded in procedure and logic. It's a refreshing twist on the formula that doesn't feel like a retread, but rather an evolution. Parallel universes as emotional escape. At its core, 4D is less about sci-fi mechanics and more about why someone would want to escape their reality. Erwin Lukesh is a twisted reflection of this desire, hopping between dimensions to outrun his mundane, suffocating life. While we're never meant to sympathize with him, the episode does raise thought-provoking questions about grief, loss, and the human desire for second chances, even at the cost of others. As a final eerie touch, Monica Reyes' address in the episode, 67 Bennett Avenue, is a nod to Rod Serling's address in The Twilight Zone, reinforcing the show's ever-present sense of unease and homage to classic speculative fiction. Conclusion: 4D is a standout episode that fuses horror, science fiction, and human emotion in a way only The X-Files can. Drawing from Psycho, the diving bell and the butterfly, and real technological advances in communication, it becomes more than just an episode of TV. It's a reflection on human resilience, the consequences of escapism, and the connections that bind us across realities. Even without Mulder and Scully leading the charge, The X-Files proved it could still haunt, thrill, and move its audience. One blink, one tap, one ripple at a time.